everyone. The poem that we are going to discuss today is titled The Queen of Delhi's Dream, and it is written by Michael Madhusudan Dutt. Michael Madhusudan Dutt was born in 1824 in Calcutta. He was a Bengali by birth, but he converted to Christianity. He was greatly influenced by the English Romantics, particularly Sir Walter Scott and Byron. Dutt started his creative writing in English, but later on changed to Bengali, and his famous work is a great Bengali epic titled Meghnad Ban. Dutt died in 1873. The Queen of Delhi's Dream is an extract from his long poem, The Captive Lady. The Captive Lady was published in 1849 and it is in the form of verse romance. The poem has a historical background. Prithviraj Chauhan was the king of Delhi and he had abducted the princess of Kannauj, whose name was Sanyukta, and he married her. So the queen here, the poet, he is talking about Sanyukta. So he is talking about the dreams that Sanyukta had. So in the poem, the poet describes the two dreams that the Queen of Delhi had. In the first dream, she saw goddess Kali, and in the second dream, she saw a pyre. Okay, so we'll begin with the explanation of the poem. Methought there came a warrior maid with blood-stained brow and sheathless blade. Dark was her hue as darkest cloud, which comes the moon's fair face to shroud, and round her waist a hideous zone of hands with charnel lightnings shone, and long the garland which she wore of heads all bathed in streaming gold. How fierce the eyes by death unsealed, and blasting gleams which they revealed, I shuddered. Though I knew it was she, the awful ruthless deity, on whose dread altar like a flood there flows for aye her victim's blood. I shuddered, for methought she came with eyes of bright consuming flame. Daughter, she said, farewell I go, the time is come, it must be so. Leave thee and thine I will tonight, then vanished like a flash of light. So here we see that the poet, he describes the dream of Sanyukta, and in this dream she sees goddess Kali. So she says, methought there came a warrior maid. That is, in her dreams she saw a woman dressed up like a warrior with blood-stained brow. That is, her forehead, it was covered with blood, and sheathless blade, and she carried a sheathless blade. Sheathless means without cover. She was carrying a sword which was coverless. Dark was her hue. Hue means color. So she was dark complexion. As darkest cloud which comes the moon's fair face to shroud. So her color was as dark as the cloud which covers the fair moon, which covers the beautiful moon. Shroud means hide, covers. And round her waist a hideous zone of hands with charnel lightnings shone. And round her waist there was a hideous zone, and in her hands she carried the lightnings. That is, charnel. Charnel is something associated with death. The garland which she wore of heads all bathed in streaming gore. Gore means blood. So she was wearing a garland, and that garland was made of heads which were all dipped in blood. How fierce the eyes by death unsealed, and blasting gleams which they revealed. And her eyes, they were fierce. And Queen Sanyukta, when she saw this image of goddess Kali, she shuddered. Shuddered means she trembled with fear. Though I knew it was she, the awful, ruthless deity. That is, deity means goddess. So she says she trembled with fear, although she knew that it was goddess Kali, on whose dread altar, like a flood, there flows for aye her victim's blood. So she was goddess Kali, on whose dread altar, what flows? Blood flows. Victim's blood flows like a flood. And this picture of goddess Kali, it appears everywhere, isn't it? And we can easily visualize it. For me thought she came with eyes of bright consuming flame. Daughter, she said, farewell I go. Now, Sanyukta, she sees that the eyes of goddess Kali, they were all bright with flame, and goddess Kali, she spoke to Sanyukta in her dream. She called her daughter. She addressed Sanyukta as her daughter, and she bid farewell, and she said that her time has come to go. Leave thee and thine I will tonight. So she says that she would be leaving, and she would be leaving Sanyukta uh, tonight, and she bids farewell to Sanyukta. Then vanished like a flash of light. So she disappeared. She disappeared like a flash of light. So this is the first dream, and in this first dream, Sanyukta saw goddess Kali. Again, I dreamt. Now she's talking about the second dream. I saw a pyre, and in the second dream, she sees a pyre. Pyre, it is a pile of wood on which dead bodies are burnt. So she saw this pyre in her second dream, blaze high with fiercely gleaming fire. So the pyre, it was blazing high with the fire. And one there came a warrior he, though faint yet bold. And then in her dream she saw a warrior who was weak yet he was bold. Undauntedly and plunged, O God, into the flame, which like a hungry monster rose. And that warrior, he courageously, undauntedly means courageously, he courageously plunged, jumped into the flame, and the flame, it rose like a hungry monster, and circled round the quivering frame a hideous curtain waving close. So the flame, it rose like a monster, and it circled the frame, and suddenly Sanyukta, she got up from her sleep, and she shrieked, she shouted, but tell me why that start, and paler brow, and heaving heart. And then she questions that what does those two dreams mean? Why that start, and paler brow, and heaving heart? And her heart began to beat heavily. So she was frightened, and her heart began to beat heavily. Oh, tell me, hath my royal sire forgot his deep and ruthless ire, and come and crushed our foemen dire? So she says that she wants to know whether the royal king. Sire is king. So whether the royal king has forgotten his deep and ruthless ire. Ire means anger. Whether the king has forgotten his anger and come and crushed our foemen dire. Foemen, that is the enemy, and dire means seriously. So is it that the enemy have are crushed seriously? And so in the second dream, we see that Sanyukta, she sees a pyre, and so these two dreams here, they presage the disaster. And it is known that the Queen of Delhi, that is Sanyukta, she burnt herself on the funeral pyre with her husband. So the poem is about the historical figure, that is Sanyukta. Thank you.